Hello everyone, welcome back to Really Good Crochet. My name's Ali and today we're going to be making the first official square in our Simple Pleasures Crochet Along. Now the first official square for our Simple Pleasures Crochet Along is the crossed extended single crochet square, and this is a good idea about what that looks like. You can see it's got an absolutely fantastic texture, and the pattern it makes is absolutely glorious as well. That starts to give you a really good idea about what that looks like. It's beautiful. Now, I've made this square with a 4.5-inch crochet hook with my Aran yarn, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the stitch count that you will need for your square, and the approximate number of rows. Now I say approximate for a good reason. You may decide that you want to use a larger hook size, which may mean that you may find that you will want to do a slightly fewer or even a slightly larger number of rows. That's fine. If you're using DK yarn, and remember that the stitch count is going to be the same whether you're using Aran yarn or whether you're using DK yarn. If you're using a smaller or larger hook, you may find that affects the number of rows that you do. So again, that's going to be an approximate number of rows. And it's the same number of rows, regardless of whether it's Aran or DK, approximate number of rows, regardless of whether it's Aran or DK. So what I'm doing is giving you the guardrails that you need. If you want to use the 4.5mm hook the same as me, I will give you the approximate size of the square, but it is approximate. The yarn that I'm using, which is let me just get that for you. It's the Stylecraft, oh, that's a DK one, so's that. It's fine, just ignore the DK thing at the bottom. It's the Stylecraft Highland Heathers in the Aran yarn. It does come up quite puffy, so it may be that if you're using a different Aran yarn to that, then it may mean that will affect slightly the size that your square comes up at, even if you're using the same hook size as me. That all of that is absolutely fine, because at the end of the day, this is the blanket that you're making. I'm helping you to find your crochet joy, and I'm helping you to learn that you are, in your own way, a crochet designer. So, when I tell you the approximate number of rows for any of the squares as we go along in this crochet along, it should come up somewhere along here, but the details will also be down in the description box. Now, the number of rows, the number of stitches that you need for this square is 38 plus 1, so that's 39 chains that you need. That should be coming up there. You need 39 to start with. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using 17, that's 16 plus 1. Now, the stitch count for the squares is, for the most part, is based on either 38 plus 1 or 37 plus 1. There are a couple of squares where that will vary slightly for reasons, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay. Now I'm using a 5.5mm hook for the demonstration today, but that's just so that you can see what I'm doing nice and clearly. I'll get you in just a little bit closer, that's much better. Now you need to start with a slip knot onto your hook. You can make your slip knot however you make your slip knot. I take the cut end of yarn, I wrap that round my finger twice. You have the front loop, you have the back loop. Take the back loop, pull that over the front loop. Take the front loop, pull that all the way over your finger. Pop your hook into the loop created, tighten down, making sure that your hook can move nice and freely. So you're either chaining up 39 or you're chaining up 17 with me. Yarning over, pull through for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17. That's the +1 for the turning chain. Now I'm going to be working my stitches into the back bumps. If you would prefer to work your stitches into the chain directly, that's absolutely fine. The crochet police are not going to come and get you. Now we never count the chain that is on the hook, we only count the fully formed chains hanging down from the hook. If you want to see where your bumps are, need a little help to see that, pop it over your finger, bend it over your finger like that, and you should be able to see your bumps nice and clearly. So skip that first chain into that second chain. We're going to start with a row of single crochet. So into that second chain, pop in your hook, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. We're going to put a single crochet into each chain down the row. By the end you should either have 16, like I will have here, or you should have 38 if you're making the full square. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do hope you can't hear my dog right now. It's only her paw that she's licking. Nevertheless. For those who have just joined me recently, Buttons is adorable. She's a foster dog who became a full-time adopted dog. I love her to bits, but she is a very daft mutt. She really is a daft mutt. And I've had some daft mutts in my time. get down to our very last chain. Ooh. And I'm just going to do another quick count to make sure that I'm all sorted. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. Yes, we're good to go. Okay, so once you've got your row of single crochet in, chain 1 and turn. Now, just a quick note to say that I do try to take my time with my lessons, but if you find that you need to slow me down further, don't be afraid to pause so that you can then catch up with me, or slow me down by using the cogwheel in the top right hand corner if you're watching from your mobile phone there, or in the bottom right hand corner if you are watching from your laptop. And I will start to sound like this, but that's fine because my actions will be slower and you'll be able to see them even more clearly. Now we're going to start with one extended single crochet into that very first stitch. So under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, you've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, you have 2 loops still on your hook and 1 chain hanging down from your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Now you're going to skip the next stitch, and into the next stitch you're going to make a single crochet. That's an extended single crochet. So grab your yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. She's completely oblivious to the fact that I'm filming a lesson here, but hey ho. Now we're going to go back to the stitch we just skipped. Try saying that quickly when you've had a few. You're going to come across that stitch you've just made, under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop a little bit taller than you would usually make, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, 2 loops still on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's your first crossed extended single crochet. So you're going to skip that stitch and into the next stitch make an extended single crochet. Under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Come back into the stitch you've just skipped, come across that stitch you've just made, into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a slightly longer loop, like that, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Skip that next stitch, into the next stitch, extended single crochet. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Come back into the stitch you've just skipped. Come right across it like that. Into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull it up slightly taller than you would normally do. Pull through one, pull through two. Let's do that again. Skip a stitch, into the next, under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two, then into that stitch you've just skipped, in your hook, grab the yarn, pull it up a little taller than you would do normally, pull through one, pull through two. And you're going to do that all the way down the row, which is where I'm going to meet you down at the bottom when you've got just 3 stitches left. Okay, so you've got just 3 stitches left at the end of your row. You're going to skip that stitch. Into that stitch, make an extended single crochet. Come back into the stitch you've just skipped. Grab the yarn, pull up a longer loop, pull through one, pull through two, and then in that remaining stitch at the end there, make another extended single crochet. And when you've completed that row, chain 1 and turn. Now that second row is your repeating row until the square is as wide as you want to make it, but obviously this row doesn't look like a row of single crochet in which you're making your stitches, so we're going to do a couple of rows to make sure that you've got how to make your stitches once you've done a row of cross stitches. So you're going to start by making an extended single crochet into the top of the extended single crochet, like that, and then you've got your stitch here, turn it up. Let's get that hook out of the way just for a moment. So you've got your 2 stitches there, 1 and then 2. Turn them that way. You've got 1 and 2. So you're going to make your first stitch in here and your second stitch in here. You're essentially making your stitch around this little bulbous bottom. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. I do love that shape. It's such a pretty shape. Right, so I'm just going to start by making our shape. First stitch, sorry, in there. That's it. So pop in your hook under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and come back to that skip stitch, pop in your hook, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, pull it up slightly taller than you would usually make it, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. Now you come to your next two stitches here. You're going to start by putting your next stitch in here, and then you'll put your crossing over stitch in here. So in here, skip into here, under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two, and into that stitch that you skipped, coming over that stitch you've just made, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, a little taller than you would usually make it, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. Now we come to our next pair of stitches. You're going to make your first stitch in here and your second stitch in here. So in here first of all, under both loops, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two, coming back into that skip stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, nice and tall, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. We'll do that together one more time. Into this one first, and then into this one. Under both loops, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. Into that skip stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a loop a little taller than you would usually make it, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. And you complete your stitches to the end of the row, and I will meet you when you've got 3 stitches left. Right, so we've got 3 stitches left, so we're going to complete our last crossover. And then we're going to put our extended single crochet. Now you can either work it under the 2 loops at the top of the stitch, or you can find your turning chain at the side of the stitch. Now if you've turned it the same way as me, it'll be a slightly smaller turning chain like that. It'll be slightly larger if you turned it in the other direction, like that. If you turned it the same way as turning a book cover, it will be much more prominent, but I turn it in the opposite direction to that. Make an extended single crochet, right in the end there, and chain one and turn. And now you're repeating your rows for as wide as you want your square to be. What we'll do is we'll do this next row together as well. And then I'm going to do a few more rows off camera. So we start with an extended single crochet into that very first stitch. And you've got your first pair of stitches here. Skip that first one into the next one, under both loops, and back into that skip stitch. And there's your next pair of stitches. Skip under both loops of that next stitch, and back into that skip stitch. There's your next pair. Skip that one, into that one, under both loops, and back into that skip stitch. And you'll carry on like that down to the end of the row, which is where I'm going to meet you. Okay, once you've got down to the bottom of the row, you've got your last pair of crossover stitches here. And you make your final stitch, the extended single crochet into your final stitch, and you chain one and you turn. Now I'm going to take this off camera now to do a few more rows, and then I'm going to join you again, just because I want to open this out a little bit to show you the full, to be able, so that you can just see properly, as properly as I can get it for you, what the shape of these stitches really looks like. Okay, so I've done a few more rows for you. I'm just going to open that out there. I hope you can see what I mean by the amazing pattern and texture that you can get just using the extended single crochet. Look at that. Absolutely glorious. Okay, so now the square that I've made, or the squares that I've made using the 4.5mm hook with the Aran yarn are, that's 38 stitches. Let me just pull up here, that's better. These are 38 chains, 39 chains, so that's the 38 plus 1 for the turning. And the row count was, let me just remind myself very, very quickly, 28 rows, about 28 rows. And with the Aran yarn, that makes a square that's approximately 9 inches wide by 8 inches high, approximately. The final size of your square will be entirely down to yourselves. If you want a smaller square than that, then you can even do fewer stitches. You need an even number plus 1 for turning. That's all you need. If you want to use Aran yarn and you want smaller squares, you need an even number plus 1 for turning. So you can do 34 plus 1, you can do 32 plus 1, you can do 28 plus 1. It's entirely down to you. If you want a smaller square, then you can do a smaller square. It's entirely up to you. As I said, I'm just going to give you the guardrails. The rest is down to you. I'll also give you some guardrails when it comes to putting little borders around the squares before joining, and I'll give you some guardrails when it comes to the joining of the squares. I'll give you some ideas, and then when it comes to the bordering of the blanket, I'll give you some ideas. But I want you to help you find what you would prefer to do that gives you joy and gives you pleasure and gives you the feeling of saying, I made that, that's my creation, and feel satisfied and pleased and happy with what you've made and what you've created. So, as I said, the details for the basics are in the description box. If you have any questions about this project, then please drop a comment in the comments down below, or you can email me at wheeliegoodcrochet@gmail.com. I'm opening up the community pages. I meant to get around to that already. I am doing that this week, I promise. I've got a 12-inch square if stitch sampler blankets aren't your thing coming this week. Oh, we've got doggy off stage right at the moment who wants to make herself known. And next week I have a quickie project for if you want some confidence building in terms of a project that you can do and finish and do that nice and quickly. Boy, do I have a project for you. These are not just any old bookmarks. Oh no, these are stitch sampler bookmarks. Those are coming next week. Have a lovely time, lovely people. Take care. Bye bye.